Welcome back to Chic on the Cheap. This week's project is a continuation of the new room that I'm decorating in our house. It's a bedroom that I'm doing in a shabby chic style, all in pink and white. And the house that we have is over 100 years old, so some of the closet sizes and spaces are really odd shaped. And in this room, the closet has an opening that's really big and wide, and if we wanted to put doors on it, we would have to get them custom made, which can be expensive. So I decided to try to make some curtain panels that would act as the doors for this closet. So this project is kind of a new way to make some curtains that are lined. I made them a little bit different than a traditional curtain would be made. The great part about it is that it's all straight line sewing, and the not so great part about it is that it's all straight line sewing. So you have to be really accurate and you have to be really careful about matching up the lining with the outer material. So I hope it's helpful. I hope that maybe it will give you an idea that you can use for your own closets or even for your own window panels. And here it is.
We're going to start by taking measurements for the final length of the curtain. So once you know what you want your final curtain to be lengthwise, you need to add 12 inches onto that measurement and then cut that out. That's going to be your panel of fabric for your curtain panel. Then we're going to cut the lining out. Now the lining, since we want it to fall a little bit shorter than the curtain, you're going to take whatever you just cut out for the curtain measurement minus 4 inches and then cut that out for your lining, so it will fall just a little bit short. Now we're going to start by putting in the bottom hem of our curtain. So take your outer piece, whatever you're using for your outer curtain, and fold over 3 inches. You can use a ruler. You need to be kind of exact about this, so just fold under 3 inches of fabric and then iron that in place. Now traditionally, if you look up how to make a curtain, they say use 4-inch folds, but I'm using 3 just because I wanted to save myself a little bit of fabric. So once you've done the 3-inch fold, you're going to fold it over again in 3 inches. So that takes up our first 6 inches of the extra 12 inches that we cut out on our fabric. So fold that over in place. You have a 3-inch fold followed by another 3-inch fold. And then just get your iron and iron that in place. Then take that to your sewing machine and you're just going to put a straight seam right along that edge. Most curtain tutorials are going to tell you to do a blind hem stitch, but I think a straight seam is just fine. Next, you're going to do the same thing to the bottom of your lining piece. You're going to fold over 3 inches, iron that in place, and then fold over 3 inches again and iron that in place so it's nice and crisp. Then take that to your sewing machine and sew it in place just like you did the outer curtain. So we got the bottom hem for our outer curtain and the bottom hem for our lining done. Next, we're going to do the top hem of our curtain. So you're going to take your material and do the two folds, a 3-inch fold and then another 3-inch fold, but before you sew it, you're going to take the raw edge of the top of your lining and just slip it right into that first 3-inch fold, just like this. And that's going to help us to hide that lining and to connect the two pieces. So once you've got it in place, you have your lining there, it's very important to make sure that you have everything lined up and keep these two panels as straight as possible, pin them in place, and then sew right along that pinned edge to connect the two. Now we're going to finish it up by doing the sides. So for the sides, I folded over 1.5 inches on both sides and ironed that in place. And then once I had that 1.5 inches ironed in place, I went back and folded over 1 inch worth of fabric. So you have 1.5 inches fold followed by 1 inch fold, and that'll give you a nice finished edge. And this is kind of what it looks like. This is the inch fold. So we've done the 1.5 inches, and now we're going to fold over 1 inch of fabric. And then you're going to iron that in place. Now to get rid of some of the excess fabric at the top, we're going to do a mitered corner. So to do that, unfold your fabric to where you just have that first 1.5 inch fold, and then fold down the edge of the corner just like this. Iron it down so that you give yourself a crease, and then we're going to cut out a square using that crease as our measurement. So the top of the square is going to be the little top point of that diagonal measurement, just like this. So you're going to cut right at the top of that diagonal measurement, and then just cut right along the fold so that you're left with a little square that's cut out, and then you can just fold down that edge that you're left with, and as you can see, it gives you a nice corner and you've taken out some of that excess fabric. So just fold down the edge after you've cut out that square on the front of the fabric, iron it in place, and then refold and iron your 1 inch seam. Then you're done after you sew those down. Now I chose to use these clips rather than to put this on any sort of a bar, and they're just a lot easier and cleaner. And here's what the final product looks like. Really, you've just done 4 straight seams with some folding and ironing, and then use the clip rings and you're all done. And I think it's a nice clean look for a closet.
Now this project is a little more pricey than what I usually do. It probably cost me about $50 for the clasp hooks and the hardware and the material and lining itself. But for me that was cheaper than having a custom door made for the closet. So I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope it was helpful. Thanks so much for watching and we'll see you right back here next week.